Well, this economic recovery is certainly anemic. It is long. It is slow. But why is anyone even surprised? Fortune's managing editor Andy Serwer here to weigh in on all of that. You agree with that, Andy, right? Why is anyone surprised about this? What sign shows us that the economy should be improving at a faster rate than it is?
I mean, this is the recovery that your mother and father warned you about, right? I mean, they said it was going to be long, slow, and uneven, and it is. And that's because we went through the greatest economic slowdown since the Great Depression. So people shouldn't be surprised. On the other hand, that's not a whole lot of comfort to anybody out there. But basically, this is exactly how people were laying it out, how economists were laying it out a year or so ago, and we are living it.
And you point out three things, major drivers here. The government in a very tight spot, whether it's state or federal government budget. The consumer, don't look to the American consumer for relief here, not for a while. But businesses are sort of the one area where you say there is a pocket of strength, but it can't fix this immediately. But ultimately, business is a lot better off, it looks like, than the consumer or state or local government.
Right. Well, it is a relative relationship, and let's talk about that for a minute, Poppy. First of all, everybody knows for most of our lives, the American consumer was the driver not only of the U.S. economy, but of the global economy. And you remember those sort of industrial films or the movies that we watched in high school. The American consumer drives the global economy. Well, listen, that's no longer true, at least for right now. The American consumer is tapped out. They're over-leveraged, they have too much debt, and their houses aren't worth anything. So they are taking a big-time breather. Government, big problem. We all know about the debt at the federal level, but also states are really hurting, and those problems are actually getting worse right now. We know about the federal government, really trying to address problems right now. States are really struggling, each one of them practically, and that's a whole problem. Now, a lot of that is because, certainly on the federal side, a major transfer of debt from businesses to government. Okay, so that's basically what helped bail us all out. Businesses, you suggest, relative to those two others, is actually in better shape, and that's because they were able to deleverage so quickly, get the debt off their books, in part because it was transferred to the government.
Is the relative success of American businesses right now something that can save this economy and really pull us out, Andy, or is it not enough when you have a state and federal government in the situation that they're both in, and the American consumer, it looks for the long haul, at least for now, changing their spending habits, dealing with the jobs crisis, dealing with the housing crisis? Can businesses pull us out?
Well, I think it's sort of a stopgap thing. I mean, we're going to limp along, I hope, until, the consumer recovers. And we hope we don't go back into a period. We're talking about growth, limited growth in the economy, but it's growth nonetheless. In other words, we're not contracting. The economy is not slipping back into a recession. It's very, very slow growth. Yes, we can't do this forever. We can't rely on big businesses in the same way we couldn't rely on consumers forever. We relied on the consumer for decades and decades and, basically just layered on too much debt. Consumers are doing the right thing, though, right now. They're not adding more debt. They're saving more. And those are the kinds of things that are positive. I know it's tough medicine, but that sets us up for a recovery later. And, of course, the huge problem is unemployment, jobs. That is the big thing. And that's why, we've talked about this before. Where is Washington? How come we don't have a jobs program? We have health care reform. We have financial reform. Where is the jobs reform? And how come lawmakers aren't focusing on that?
And I don't think the private sector will move in a meaningful way towards hiring before they have that answer from Washington. They say, we're looking for clarity. Washington says, why don't you use the money that you have to hire?
Well, that's right. And, of course, a jobs program would, again, be just a temporary thing to jumpstart in the same way that the stimulus jump-started or attempted to jumpstart the economy, and it appeared to jumpstart the economy a little bit, but that is running out of steam right now. That's part of the problem.
On the latest numbers. Okay, Andy, thank you.
Thanks, Poppy.